Hello, baby gangsters. This is the monthly quick Q&A we do every single month for the patrons who want to ask some questions. And you can ask questions and you can check it out in the description below if you do want to ask any of those questions. It's just a fun thing to do every single month. And the first question we got today is from Dupiker, and it's Romebot. I have a question. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The comedic answer is to sing the full song for Sesame Street. The answer is the chicken. The chicken evolved from other creatures, so it came first before the egg. Unfortunately. I know it's actually like a very interesting question, and probably other people have answers, but I definitely believe that it's the chicken. Maybe other people have a different idea. Cat Sit says, name every anime you've ever watched. Okay, let's go. Let's try and do this. So the first anime I ever watched was Yu-Gi-Oh! Then it was Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Then it was probably some Pokemon. Then it was, then when I got back into anime, it was obviously Death Note, I think back in like 2010 or 2011 around that time. Future Diary came along then after that. Assassination Classroom also came along after that, which is really, really cool. Haiku, Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen. What else? Monster, Pluto, Soul Eater came way before that, actually. Soul Eater is one of my first. Samurai Champloo came after that. What else? What else have I watched? I've watched Code Geass. Wasn't a massive fan of it, but I have watched it. Code Geass I've watched as well. Your Lie in April, To Your Eternity. There's so many. Orange. Real Life. There's so many because they're in my top Beck. It's ReZero, which is fantastic. Parasite the Maxim. This is a fool's errand. I probably shouldn't. I know it's probably a joke question, but that's like some of the animes I definitely watched. They're my top favorite animes, shows that I really, really enjoy. Mob Psycho, of course, is also there as well. There's so many shows that I could talk about that I've watched. I actually made a list of like all the anime, like the top 10 a while back. But yeah, I'm really into like anime shows most times. Cosmic Catlove asks, what do you think about replacing Sealies with tiny Scaramouche clones that kick you in the face before giving you the chest? Honestly, Cosmic Catloaf, it's probably a good decision. If you can get in touch with them and patch that in, makes sense. Honestly, it just makes perfect sense. Malcolm Condé asks, I never thought I'd see you play survival crafting games on the channel, so the Sonic playthrough has really surprised me. What were your expectations for the game? Were you aware it had a main story and ending at first? Or were you expecting just to play until you found diamonds and call it there? The second part. I expected to play this game until like people were like, oh yeah, you're kind of done. Kind of like an Animal Crossing style thing. I did not think it had a story whatsoever. I didn't know anything about this. I think a lot of people think that I go into games like with some basic knowledge. I try to go in with as little knowledge as possible. I think it's more fun that way for everyone. I'm so happy about it though. This game is unlikely like anything on your channel. You have to actively explore and a few hints on what to do next as well as to understand the story. It requires some patience and I guarantee it'll be worth it. It's one of my top 10 games with moments that made me tears of how beautiful and scary it is. I agree. So far there's been really some beautiful parts of it, some emotional parts of it, and some really like sickening parts of it too, listening to some audio logs. It's a really cool game so far, Malcolm. The last question comes from What's Your Damage? What type of music do you find yourself listening to often? Do you have a favorite video game soundtrack and why? So to answer this, the music I listen to most is Coheed and Cambria. That's my favorite band. I've been lately listening to a lot of like new metal stuff. New metal's really good because a lot of it like is very thought-provoking, but like the music is so like amped up that like even if you're feeling sad, you can listen to it very well. My favorite video game soundtrack? It's probably either the Scarlet Nexus soundtrack, the Trails of Cold Steel 1 soundtrack, or possibly the Nier Replicant soundtrack are three of my favorites. Final Fantasy X soundtrack, of course, is incredible too, and Shadow of the Colossus has amazing music also. There's so many amazing games. Tekken 4, Tekken Tag, all those games, Skyward Sword. Some really fantastic soundtracks. Genshin so far has been really, really good too, but there's so much music in Genshin that it's hard to even sift through like what I would really like picking that. And lastly, any cool games you'd like to recommend to a wee baby gamer like me? Never played tough games or games like Elden Ring, Skyrim, Baldur's Gate, etc. So any games that I can recommend for someone who's only like doesn't play a lot of games? Honestly, like believe it or not, I do think that a game like Scarlet Nexus is perfect because it's a game that has like difficulty levels, but also like has like really cool combat moments, really cool music. If you're into just like, it depends on what game you're into. Like for me, my first ever video game I played were like the Crash Bandicoot games and Tekken. They were the two games I played first. If I'm trying to get someone into video games, I would show them Persona 5. Just straight up. I would show them Persona 5 because that game can be as smooth as you want. It can be as hard as you want. It's just like so like beautiful, has such a cool story. You could say, oh, well, it's too long. Sure, but like I feel like either that or Persona 4 Golden would really like get people into JRPGs forever. And that's the genre I always try to get people into. Yeah, that's the question. That's the answer I would give you. What's your damage? Thank you so much for watching this, guys. Thank you so much for supporting my Patreon as always. And thank you so much to the Never Competitive Big Gangsters here on Patreon. That being Typhara 2, Jamie Bull, Jan the Banana, The Ghost of Inazuma, Felicious Felix, George Candelaria, Eskun, Ewald, Radish, Fruity, Anusta, Ciabatta Malcolm Hade, V Mika, Lynx Markey, and Death Trap. Yeah, and by the way, suggesting games, you can suggest games down below as well for a new video game fan as well. For me, that's the one I'd always suggest because it's so beautiful and can be so smooth at the same time.